The imposed 1:30 a.m. lockout on Sydney's bars and clubs has less to do with lowering alcohol-related assaults and more to do with punitive rhetoric in the media and by politicians. Why? Why did I choose this? Because it seems strange that of the 4 assaults that occurred in the city, one that was fatal, only one occurred after midnight. Yet this has caused Barry O'Farrell to implement a 1:30 a.m. lockout. Academics in law and justice are also concerned at the knee-jerk reaction by the disgraced New South Wales former Premier, to change legislation concerning mandatory sentencing so quickly. So you have business industry leaders in hospitality saying a lockout penalises us, not the brutes who are actually inflicting violence, and legal academics saying, hey, you're changing the very rules of our society in very little time, with very little consultation with us, and that's a dangerous thing. Hence my scepticism at the disgraced former Liberal Premier's changes to licensing and legislation. My fundamental belief is that Mr. O'Farrell encoded all of these major changes because he did what most politicians do, arouse a public moral panic, swiftly make changes to appear proactive and penalise the wrong persons. So my question is based around the field of communication, media communication. Therefore, the research area is in media effects. Experts in this field are old mates Adorno and Horkheimer. Their research suggests that the media packages and anaesthetizes conflict portrayal. This demands an automated response by the public to acts of social disobedience. Then there's Baudrillard. He says that what the media produces is akin to pornography. So all at once we are stimulated but alienated from the true message, from what is actually going on. It could be that the moral panic itself is like foreplay. The moral panic is a kind of the penetration, and the punitive measures are the orgasm. My favourite is Canadian Marshall McLuhan. McLuhan's proposition is that media affects our en masse ability to assign guilt. Who pays for crime? Is political rhetoric a symptom of this? Pertinent to the Coward's Punch campaign, McLuhan argues that we carry out the most dangerous of social operations with complete detachment. Capello and Potter look at the media and its propensity to create moral panics by way of exaggeration. So, how does the media cover issues of individual wrongdoing? This focuses attention on consequences rather than causes. And Dr. Archie's main man, McQuail. My research project uses his agenda setting theory. The basic model of agenda setting is the idea that amongst a given range of issues or topics, those which get more media attention will grow in their familiarity and perceived importance over a period of time. In relation to the Sydney lockout, did the role of hyped media attention outweigh the statistics of alcohol-related assaults? Lexi Manser will also be employed to look at the political rhetoric used over the media campaign of the lockout and legislative changes. The other key research method will be cultural criminology. Underpinning this is the analysis of mediated construction of crime through the media. Quilter, a legal academic out of the University of Wollongong, has produced a critical analysis of the lockout and has found that it is devoid of principle, produces a lack of coherence in the criminal law, and in its operation is unlikely to deliver on the promise of effective prevention in relation to alcohol-fueled violence. Media theory will be my main source of research, as it is a tried and tested framework that has been around for decades. Contributors such as McLuhan have been canonised in this field, and he successfully predicted the internet as the global village. His most famous legacy, that the media is the message, is still pertinent today. And one only has to look at the multiple media platforms that were amalgamated and garnered in the lockout campaign to understand the power of the media. Textual analysis is inviting, as we could draw on examples parodied by brilliant films such as Bullworth and Wag the Dog. However, I felt that by incorporating media theory and cultural criminology, some textual analysis has already been performed. That politicians employ spin and that the media uses hyperbole really are two givens. Today's audience can already decipher and acquiesce to this. Rather, this research project aims at not unveiling the hidden agenda of the politician and the media, but rather to categorically state that the measures placed by Barry O'Farrell, former disgraced Liberal New South Wales Premier Barry O'Farrell, will not curb drug and alcohol-related violence in the city. A great example of where media effects theory has been applied successfully in a research context is an article I came across entitled Media Effects Theory and the Nature-Nurture Debate, a historical overview and directions for future research, published in 2004. The essay aims to illustrate the relationship between the nature-nurture debate and the media effects theory, and to offer a wider understanding of why mass media affects us individually and en masse. It's actually a really good read if you can be bothered. Good luck.